Okay, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Hope we meet you well. Let's continue on the political theme that we've been on for quite a while. This time, let's switch over to Labour Party, and its leadership crisis, and indeed, possibly the future of Labour Party itself. Okay, we have this morning Mr. Abayomi Arabambi. Mr. Arabambi is a spokesman, Labour Party, Papa faction. Let me say good morning to you, sir. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Indeed.
I hear you clearly.
Our pleasure. Excellent, excellent. And in studio, we have Jide Ologun. Mr. Ologun is a lawyer and public affairs analyst. Thank you very much, as always, Jide, for coming on.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure.
Indeed. Pleasure is always ours. Okay, let me start with you, since it's a labor matter. So what can you tell us? Because really, we thought you should set the ball rolling. The leadership crisis, how are you going to come out of it? You have your issues with NLC. You say NLC has no locus whatsoever. I was reading in the papers this morning that NLC was being told that it had no locus whatsoever, and if it were a good student of history, it would know this, but it was likely going to be defeated on that score, as has already happened in the past. But tell me, sir, what can you tell me about the crisis in Labour and the attempt to affect the leadership by the NLC?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. If we must tell ourselves the truth, Martin Luther King Jr. said, our life begins to end when we fail, to comment about things that matter. A Labour Party crisis, actually, we got ourselves a mess due to massive corruption. There was ab initio protected by some gladiators, who are also in a battle with Aburi now. Well, I just discovered something, and I think I'm going to let the cat out of the bag on TVC, that we were even operating on an illegal constitution with INEC. We were operating on illegal constitution with INEC. It shows that the constitution amended last in our convention in Nakure was the same constitution that was domiciled with INEC, and it has not been changed. In that constitution, it was because of the crisis that we had to probe him. I was shocked to see that the NSC president and the TVC president are part and parcel of our National Working Committee. A lot of the clearances, in that constitution, and the amended one of 2019, which Julius Abure told us INEC has accepted. It means we even went into 2023 election without a valid constitution in Labour Party, because the one with INEC was not the one that we used. In the one with INEC, a lot of rules, a lot of power were given to the BOT, but this power were criminally removed in the one of 2019. No wonder the 2019, we didn't see. Abule just came to Benin during the next meeting to distribute that party our Labour Party constitution to us. So there is a massive corruption, perjury, and criminal conspiracy committed by Julius Abure. And as at that time, both Peter Obi, the NLC, they didn't see anything good in what we are saying, probably because they were united together because of the election. They decided to close, their face this against corruption. Then it was as a result of the forgery by Abure of one, the seal and signature of a judge of FCTI court. The stamp and signature of the commissioner for oath, then he generated his own TSA receipt. But in line with Evidence Act, because I know there's a lawyer in the house, we wrote to that court, and the court replied us that those documents were forged. That means we have completed the line of the evidence, because they say whoever alleges must prove. It was because we alleged that, oh, these documents were forged, and we wrote to the authority in Abuja there, and they confirmed. It was this document we took to court. And Justice Muazu, in his own wisdom, said, you cannot be a judge in your own case. Please step aside. Let the matter be investigated. Then the NSC then, they swap on us, on Alhaji Apapa led NWC. Mr. Pitobi failed to give us recognition. And that was what made Abure to grow weak, in this massive corruption that is now haunting all of them today. That made him to go and conduct an illegal confession without carrying anybody along. So we are happy that at least they have seen the truth in what we are saying. Even my sister, Olusegun, the treasurer, came on board to allege the same. We have our own group. She is the custodian of our account. She came to the world. We checked that Abure was signing a signature without our permission to withdraw money. Maria Labeke, our former acting national chairman, came on here to say the same thing. But you know what? We thank God today that at least what they didn't see then, they were seeing it now, and that was what actually, contributed to the implosion in Labour Party now. Indeed. And to your question, this is not going to happen like that, because we must get to the root of this matter. No man will think because you have certain people behind you, then you can do whatever you want. And I also have a word for Mr. President. For Mr. President, we have tried, even when the police came out with their report of the forgery, perjury, and criminal conspiracy. When Abure was also fined, to have committed those things, we transversed among Mr. President appointees. It is like even most of them are even working against him for the second time, because we don't see any reason why you have to go to people in authority. Look at what this guy did. He must be prosecuted. All of them, they felt unconcerned, probably because of their, because of their own pot of soup. They didn't bother. A lot of the APC appointees saw that our crisis, probably because we are looking for something from Mr. President, and it is far from me. No man who has the audacity to forge the seal and signature of a judge in Nigeria, and you allow that person to go scot-free. Okay. It means we are now legitimizing forgery in Nigeria, and if anybody does that, they will now lead you back that during Abure was deep, nothing was done. Therefore, Mr. George, set me free, let me go home.
Okay, Mr. Arabambi, ground-shaking allegations there.
They have been proven. They have been proven.
So they've gone beyond allegations.
No, yeah, it's not an allegation. It has been proven. I said, we wrote, there's a lawyer in the house. We wrote to the court. The court said the judge seal and signature was forged. That was the court. The register, they said the treasury account was not from them. He generated his own. Again, the stamp and the signature of the commissioner of oath, they said were forged. What other thing do you need? Okay. There's a lawyer in the house. When you allege, it is the authority that issued any document that you allege it was forged that will prove. Not like the way Atiku and Obi very willfully to prove that of Tinubu when he said his university never wrote to them that those documents were forged. Our own was just in Nigeria here. And we wrote back to that one because said these documents were forged. It was the CTC of the one they gave back, they gave to us as a record that we now took to court. And the court now asked him to step aside. And NLC, it will be obedient. They swoop on us, but they are now against Apure, which we thank God that at least they've been able to see reason with us.
All right then, Mr. Abayomi Arabambi, you haven't just started the ball rolling. It's actually bouncing. It's actually bouncing down the lane. Let me come back into studio for the perspective of Mr. Jide Ologun on where the situation, as has been narrated by Mr. Arabambi there.
You know, the case of forgery, if established, is a criminal matter.
It is.
So one would have expected that with all the submitted evidence and exhibits, that he should be prosecuted. So has he been prosecuted? Because in the criminal justice ecosystem, there are three vital requirements: thorough investigation, diligent prosecution, before a committed judiciary. You see, so, but if these are left on the altar of politics, then we are going nowhere. And that is why I'm going to agree with him on the principle of reinforcement theory in industrial psychology, that if grievous issues like this are left without being brought to justice, then we are not doing any good service to the nation. But you know political parties, because and with all these battle between the Abureist, Apapaist, you know, and Ajeroist and Obedient, it's good for us to go back to history. Early 2000, I think around 2002, NLC came together to form this Party for Social Democracy, you know, thinking that good things should be brought to Nigerians in the political arena. And it was later changed to Labour Party after the 2003 election. So NLC remains a key stakeholder in that party. But as it is right now, like we read then, that things fall apart. The center cannot hold. So you find all the accusations here and there. But it's not fresh. I mean, even during the elections tribunals, we were watching how Apapa would go to court and raise doors against Abure and so. But the party should learn that if you fail to put your house in order, you are enabling other parties to accommodate your house. You see, so, and that is why I'm not so bothered about the allegation that the APC is sponsoring frictions in Labour Party. It's the responsibility and prerogative of Labour Party to ensure that that party is secured against external aggression, because politically speaking, it's part of the political game to try and weaken the relevance of the opposition. You see, so it's part of politics, and if that has not been learned by Labour Party, maybe they should go back to the school of politics and learn that.
Indeed, because this is what I was going to bring to Mr. Arabambi. The matter of people are mentioning other politicians. They mention APC. I think in the case in Edo the other day, the PDP has come into the fray. A deputy governor has been selected there. And as he said, it's up to Labour as a party to secure itself from, well, external aggression by whatever means are necessary. In this case, no doubt it will be dialogue and anything they can do to be as cohesive as they can be. So let me ask you, with the state of affairs such as it is, how optimistic are you for the future of Labour Party?
Thank you very much. To my brother in the house, you know, he was also alluding to the fact that Abure said their Papa and Joagero are working for APC. Let me make a point very clear here. If you look at our 2023 general election, aside from the presidential election, Labour Party, the Obedient, and Peter Obi supported all PDP governorship candidates. Go to Oyo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Cross River, Plateau, all. Obi went there asking the Obedient to support PDP governor in that place, governorship candidate in that place. Now, to Julius Abure, a little scenario is playing out now. And we have told him several times that number that is not going to work for us. As we speak, PDP is the major issue that we have in Labour Party. And you know from Baba Olabode George, others, they have raised complaint that Obi decimated us, decimated states, that were supposed to have won actually and to defeat the APC presidential candidate. But what they were doing now is they have seen a partner in Julius Abure, whom they have offered vice presidential candidate slot in 2027. But because Abure thought we not know, he quickly announced Mr. Peter Obi as the only candidate of Labour Party in 2027, a power that he doesn't have. So the people working with Abure, he has only just one agenda: make sure Labour Party is not settled, so that at least we can have our vote back in 2027 to defeat Tinubu. Number two, we will also give you this law. And that was why up to today, you see Abure now fighting all battles. And it will be heavily sponsored by PDP to make sure this crisis do not abate. But it is not going to be possible with us. It's the one that will leave the party for us and allow to rebuild the party. Because you can't just think you will not be working with an Atiku or any PDP person to think that because they now offer you something like a banana peel, that, we are going to give you vice presidential candidate to Atiku. Please help us to decimate, Labour Party. And whatever Abure is doing, once you go against it, with any form of justification, Abure will move swiftly against you. That is his own issue. So that my brother in the house is saying the truth. The problem we have is what I would say articulation of PDP in Labour Party. Because they were bitter that, Peter Obi splitted their vote because they were trying to add their own seat for something, for something that, this will have even, be above the 8.something million of the current president. But for us, that is not the issue now. The issue should be that we should be able now to redirect our party so that we will not be able to provide a formidable front with what NSC and TVC are trying to do now. It's just for them to say, come, we are brothers, let's come together. Can we now build this party? Can we now make this party, a viral party? And, and by the time they were supporting before, they were not seeing what we are saying. But thank God now, they are now seeing what we are saying. And again, like I said in the constitution with INEC, please go to INEC, our constitution stipulated that NSC president and TVC president are members of the National Working Committee. And a lot of procedure are there that we do not even follow in the 2023 election. Okay. You can see, Abure is a lawyer. He knew that when the constitution is amended, you have to domicile it. It's in section 222 of the constitution. You must domicile with INEC so that it will not be an official document with the government, with INEC. But you can see Abure chooses on his own to commit a policies of assault and political rascality. And he thought he can have his way with that. So Atiku is the problem that we are now having in Labour Party. Because he desperate, he stated the 2027 general election, but people should also know that we also have our own mindset. Even if it's not going to be Peter Obi, we can pick any other candidate from the south to square it up, with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And again, not like, that my brother in the house said, I think the president must rise up to this matter. The seal and signature of a judge must not be forged. And we will not be following the offices of his minister. That we want the right thing to be done, and they will treat us as if to say we are inconsequential. We are not coming to them to beg for food, but that the right thing must be done. And that was why you see Abure getting the entire, airspace. Even when it is assaulted by police, somewhere along the line, they will give him bail, and some people will now be suppressing the police. I will give it to the Inspector General of Police. Twice, Mr. Betoku was an AIG when Abure was when he was first arrested. Then he was the IG when he was arrested twice. But you see, people, politicians, especially from APC, they will not be helping Abure to suppress this matter. And that's what I want to tell Mr. President. They to stay off our matter and let justice be done. You cannot force the seed as sit down and stand of a sitting judge in Nigeria, and they will tell you, and the man will tell you that nothing will happen to me. No, something must happen.
All right.
Something must happen. And the president, we are begging him. It should look into the matter, direct to the general to do the need.
He's mentioned the president a number of times, and he needs to come in. And you were speaking about the principle of, look, all is fair in love and war. Not that they should go and destabilize, but if they can't get their house in order and it's going to work to the advantage of anybody else, I guess so be it. But I don't know. You made the statement that, look, a criminal matter must indeed be pursued if there is any substance to it, so that you can't just leave it hanging there. But the way he is speaking, I don't know, what is your assessment? How destabilizing is this? Because it looks like Labour Party is battling for its soul, as a matter of fact, if it's going to do anything useful or substantial politically. The party needs to form alliances, I imagine. And they have done that to some extent, but now that is being held against them by, PDP, the part that PDP is playing, and you just heard Mr. Rabambi even mention APC itself too.
I think much of public relations experience is needed here now, because public relations is a deliberate, planned, and sustained effort to create mutual understanding between stakeholders. So you need to be deliberate about it. And what is expected is that the party stakeholders should synchronize. Mm-hmm. So the expression factionalization itself means there are divisions there.
Of course.
And let me say this, going by the last general elections in Nigeria, the obedient movement was like a landslide seeking for somewhere to manifest.
That is a grouping, even though it is Labour Party,
exactly.
But it's a grouping under Labour Party.
It represented an interest.
And I think Obi himself has said that it is not necessarily Labour Party like that.
Exactly. Obi came from PDP.
Yes.
Because he couldn't have his way. Mm-hmm. He did not start in PDP as a politician. And so we need to also create space for the aspect of personal ambition in politics. In fact, Obi is already saying now that what Jesus says is that go and try to help them. If they don't listen to you, dust your feet and move on. So as a politician who has ambition, he's already insinuating that if Labour Party cannot synchronize, he's at liberty to move. Already we are reading about the former governor of Kaduna State, El Rufai, romancing SDP. You know politicians for who they are. So it's now for Labour Party to conduct what we call SWOT analysis. It's not only Labour Party that should conduct SWOT analysis. Let me inform the party that your opponents also are conducting their own SWOT analysis, and they will leverage on your weakness to pull you down. If you don't quickly leverage on your strength.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities,
exactly,
and
strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So this threat now that is coming, you need to work around it. If not, you find that the kind of influence that Labour Party enjoyed during the last general elections in Nigeria may not be there. So this
and a large part of that perhaps is the obedience factor, and that is what, as you've just explained, Peter Obi is sort of saying that, look, all of it is insinuating, but the man has been on the move. He's been traveling, he's been moving around, and I think there's this notion that if things can't work out here, even though he hopes it will, I would imagine, I'm not in his mind, then if he moves, he's probably thinking that I will be moving with my loyalists.
And that is why the concept of structure that some of us spoke so much about is relevant. As much as Peter Obi has his loyalists, there is a need for a structure. The Labour Party is a structure. And if that structure becomes like a structure with deflated tires that cannot move, he needs another structure. And this is where politics has come to play. And of course, in politics, it's negotiation. He rightly mentioned that some offerings are being made behind the curtains. That is politics for you. That what it will take you 10 years to achieve in that party, can we offer you in 4 years? So what do you do for us? So, and that is why the frontliners in Labour Party should come together now and sit down to find out whether they are mortgaging the future of Labour Party or securing the future of Labour Party, and ask the simple question: what kind of interest are we projecting? Is it national? Is it party? Is it individual? Because it goes a long way.
Indeed.
Because politicians who have made their marks can always move from one party to another. And if they are strong enough, look at what happened to PDP in the last general elections. The G5 just came out, the governors, and said, fine, we are still in this party, but we will only be loyal to a candidate in another party. And we have brought that as a culture to the politics of Nigeria now. Because even the PDP chieftain, who was like the arrowhead of that movement, is now a serving minister in another party and still holding the ticket of PDP. So there are strange things. Or do I say unusual events happening within the political landscape in Nigeria. So
that nevertheless
Labour
are still
should not
familiar
walk
to
on
Nigeria.
slippery ground at this point in time.
Okay, let's take a break now. We'll come back, continue with this conversation. And I like the question you posed that, look, Labour should be asking itself, is it, where is its interest? Is it national or individual? We'll take a break.